Brother, no one is coming to rescue you. Not your parents, not your friends, not the world. The life you say you want is sitting there, waiting, but only if you're man enough to accept the responsibility of building it. Get to work. The one thing all fools share, Seneca said, is that they're always getting ready to begin. Epictetus asked a version of the same question when he said, "How much longer are you going to wait before you demand the best of yourself?" And honestly, I don't think there's anyone who looks back at last year and truly believes they became everything they were capable of becoming. Maybe you haven't been who you're capable of being for a long time. So now, with 2026 staring us straight in the face, we've got to ask, who are we going to be? What are we going to do? How much longer are we going to wait? It starts with who you are. I always tell our players, who you are matters more than what you do. More than how high you jump, how fast you run, or how talented you look. Because who you are is your character, and your character is built from your thoughts, your habits, and your priorities, day by day. Those three shape the choices you make, and the choices you make shape the person you become. Good man, bad man, hard worker, lazy man, responsible, irresponsible. And it takes real discipline to do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, the way it's supposed to be done. If you want to crank out 50 push-ups, it won't come from wishing. It comes from training, doing the right things consistently. Think about it. If you could choose the kind of life you want to live out of 8 billion people on Earth, most of you would choose a peaceful life, a happy life, a satisfying life. That tells me something. You already know what you want. So why aren't you living it? You know what you want, but your everyday reality doesn't match it. Why? Because of the mind. And that's why these moments show up. Opportunities to finally understand how your mind works. So here's an ode to the people who don't believe in themselves. What comes first? Belief or action? Do you need confidence before you move? Or can movement create confidence? Fake it till you make it is one way, but that's brutally hard when you're introspective. You've got low self-belief and your standards are high. So what about this? Make it until you believe it. Here are a few lessons I've learned. You can think you don't deserve something and still achieve it. You can be convinced your efforts will fail and still succeed. You can cling and fear and overthink and ruin the joy, only to realize the fear was unnecessary and things still worked out. You can have zero confidence and still show up anyway. You can want more without knowing exactly what more looks like. You can question the process, doubt your talent, feel unsure you're improving, downplay your wins, feel like you're never doing enough no matter how hard you work, refuse to rest, struggle to feel gratitude, fear you'll never reach your goals, and still end up somewhere your 20-year-old self would never believe. Self-belief is overrated. Create proof. Stack evidence. Earn it. Because when you generate evidence, something shifts. Now you start believing yourself. You start trusting that inner voice. You start believing in your actions. You start believing in who you are. You start believing in your words. You start believing in your dreams. You start believing in your thoughts. You start believing in your actions. So what happens next? The next step is doubt. Listen, believing is the beginning. Because once you begin to believe, you start trusting the one person you should have trusted all along, the person others told you not to trust, you. Because now you're finally listening. You're finally building self-belief. You stop second-guessing yourself, at least for a moment, and then you grow. You trust yourself. You trust your actions. You trust your words. And what comes after trust? Relentless growth, real growth. You've worked too hard to let one season of darkness convince you there's no light ahead. As consistent as I try to be at my job, in my workouts, in my personal growth, every week still has highs and lows. Some runs, even short ones, feel like dragging your teeth across concrete. Other days on longer runs, you feel unstoppable, like you could go forever. Some days it's easy to lock in, to hit that flow state, and it feels like you're on track to accomplish everything you've dreamed of. And I'd be lying if I said the highs and lows didn't used to crush me. But lately I've been accepting something. Nothing lasts forever. Not the good, not the bad. No success is permanent. No accomplishment lasts forever. And that means no failure is permanent either, unless you make it permanent. So if you feel like you've been pinned against the wall, like you can't break a bad cycle, like you've tried everything and nothing is working, like you wish you could control what you cannot control, then listen. That season of darkness keeps knocking because you're being forged inside of it. So commit to all of it. The dream, the work, the suffering, the uncertainty, the hopelessness. When you signed up for your life, you signed up for all of it. You knew what it would demand. So meet the standard, Wayne, because you can either let temporary pain stay temporary, or you can turn temporary into permanent. You can convince yourself that this rough patch is a life sentence. You can decide it's too hard. You can let one season define your year and let 1 year define the rest of your life. Or maybe the clay is finally warming up. Maybe something is about to move. Maybe something is about to change. But you only find out if you stay long enough to see it. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. The same wind hits all of us. The difference between where we end up at the end of the week, the month, the year, is not the wind. The wind is blowing across the whole world. And that matters because if you forget it, you'll get scared of chasing what you want. And that's common. Fear holds you back while the promise pulls you forward, and that tug of war makes you weak. So flip it. You want your fear behind you, pushing you. You want to be more afraid of not going after your goals than you are of going after them. That mindset is powerful. And here's something you need to understand. Most of the time, you don't get to choose the best option. You choose your poison. You get 2 hard choices and you choose which suffering you're willing to carry. Every choice costs something. And once you accept that, it frees you because you stop torturing yourself searching for a perfect solution. Sometimes there isn't one. Sometimes there's risky option 1 and risky option 2. Both might be ugly, but you still get to choose which pain is worth it, and that makes all the difference. It's easy to be a victim, bro. It's easy to believe life just happens to you. It's easy to say your situation is caused by other people's decisions or pure luck. Falling short and blaming everything except yourself, that's the easy path. It hurts less in the moment. But what you're missing is this. There's no reward at the end of that road. If you live like that, your life will stay miserable. Things won't go how you want. And then one day you'll reach the end and you'll still be pointing fingers. You'll look back and say, at least it wasn't my fault. But tell me this, is a life that's not your fault worth living if it's still a life you hate? The best path forward is the hard path. The path where everything is your responsibility. The path where no matter what happens, you ask, what did I do wrong? And what do I need to do better next time? The path where there's always something to learn. That path hurts the most, but it builds the strongest man, and it leads to the best life. And that brings me to obsession. People get nervous about the word obsession, so they stay in the safe zone called interest. Because when you're interested in something, when you're passionate, it feels like a beautiful daydream, a warm glow, a euphoric rainbow. But obsession? Obsession lives in your nightmare. Obsession lives in the place where you can't sleep, where details matter, where excuses die. That's why everyone loves working with passionate people. They're so passionate. They're easy to be around. Obsessed people? They're hard to work with. They're intense because every detail matters. And here's a real question. You've survived everything life has thrown at you so far. Do you think that happened because you controlled everything, feared everything, and overthought everything? Or is it more likely that you're capable, competent, gifted, and that over a long enough timeline, the world tends to pay people what they earn? You're doing this for you. We judge people by how much life they can tolerate, how much emotion they can carry and still move, still function, still enjoy the day. And that's something we all need more of. Be the person your younger self wished existed as a role model. Facing fear isn't about feeling nothing. It's about being brave enough to move forward while you feel it. That's courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to do it afraid. You look at courageous people and think they have some special emotion. You don't. They don't. They feel what you feel. They just act anyway. They move through it instead of letting it block them. Go into the unknown because you already know what you know, and what you know has gotten you this far. But it's not enough unless you believe you're enough. And if you don't believe you're enough, then you have to go where you haven't gone. You can't force yourself to be interested. Interest grips you. It appears. It takes hold. So what's gripping you? How do you explain that pull? Is it divine? Well, it's divine in the only way that matters, because it has power over you. It calls you forward, and you can't ignore it without paying a price. There's a calling inside you toward what you're compelled by, what your attention keeps returning to. Sometimes it's bright, sometimes it's dark, but it pulls you forward. And that thing that pulls you away from your comfort, away from your familiar life, your safe place, the comforts of childhood, that's the thing you're meant to listen to. Because if you don't listen to what beckons you forward, you will pay for it in ways you can't even imagine. You'll get everything terrible about life and none of the good. And worse, deep down, you'll know it was your fault. You'll know you threw away what you could have had. And understand this, fear and doubt are not the same. How many times have you felt pressure? And underneath that pressure, you felt alive? When pressure felt like a privilege, when it energized you. That's fear. Fear is the pressure. Fear is embracing the pressure, wanting the pressure, using the pressure, not letting it crush you. You thrive on it. You hunt it. You don't want a life without it. But what does doubt do in a pressure situation? You panic. Fear can be an ally. Doubt is an enemy you built inside your own mind. One of my favorite quotes is this: "A man who procrastinates his choosing will inevitably have his choice made for him by circumstance. Because the only thing we truly have is the time we choose to use right now. The opportunity sitting in front of us in this moment, demanding only a down payment of today's effort. And honestly, that effort isn't even as expensive as it feels, especially when you remember how good it feels to know you actually tried today. So I'd rather do the hard now. If it means running farther, lifting heavier, working longer, day after day, I'll take that price. It's not easy. I know. But that's the point. It's a smaller cost today compared to a lifetime sentence of questions you'll never be able to answer. Because you kept delaying, even when you knew your future self would hate you for it. If you keep skipping your daily chances, your real chances, don't be surprised when your life becomes a default result of never doing anything that made you proud. They'll tell you you're doing too much. They'll say you need to slow down. But what they really mean is your effort exposes their lack of it. They'll ask why you're up before the sun, why you push through pain, why you refuse the easy route like everyone else. And one day, when the results show up, the results they doubted, they'll ask how you did it and wish they had started when you did. The world doesn't reward people who chase approval. It rewards people who stay in the game long enough to prove they never needed it. And let me say this plainly, motivation is garbage. Motivation is garbage because it disappears when you need it most. Knowing what to do isn't enough. It's just not. The clock is moving. Waiting for motivation to strike is another way of saying it's never going to happen. So you're at rock bottom? Good. You feel like you lost control? Like the world is collapsing and there's nothing you can do? Like no matter what you try, it only gets darker? Good. Accept it. Stop running. There's a mountain whose peak is so high it disappears into the clouds. Look at it. Feel the shadow it's cast over you for all this time. Understand this. That mountain isn't a stranger. That mountain is you. You are the mountain. And today you stop shrinking from your own potential. And listen, there's a difference between feeling sad and being sad, feeling angry and being angry. You can feel sadness. You can feel anger. You can feel it all, but don't perform it. Don't live inside it. Strength is doing what you're supposed to do even while you feel it. Cry if you need to. Be human. But handle your responsibility anyway. That's mental toughness. I'm going to do what's right even though I feel like this. If you master that, you can master anything. You carry a heaviness. You feel stuck. You thought you would have left your mark by now, found your purpose. Instead, you feel like you wasted time. Wasted? No. Time has been your silent sculptor, shaping you in ways you can't see yet. And it's funny, man. A lot of young guys think greatness is a choice. Bro, it's not a choice. It's an obligation. You don't only owe this to yourself, you owe it to the people who believe in you, the people who sacrifice for you. The day you were born, you signed a contract with life, with your name, with your future, with God. So believe in yourself. You owe it to yourself, big dog. Owe it to yourself. Snow's coming down this morning. Weather says it feels like 14. The ears ache, the hands burn. I sit in an ice bath for 3 minutes before every morning run, and I don't want to be out here. But if I let my environment decide whether I show up, then my life belongs to circumstance. And that is a pathetic existence. Everybody wants certainty. Almost nobody is willing to give it to themselves. This world will do everything it can to keep you from showing up. It will find a reason every single time. And if you let it, your life will look completely different. I tell people this. You get rewarded in public for what you practice in private. Look at someone like Steph Curry. You see him pull up from near half court, turn around, wave before it even drops, because he already knows. Crowd explodes. People call it talent. They call it a gift. They call it magic. But what they don't see is the real story. He shoots 500 shots a day, never less. 7 days a week for more than 15 years. Before college, before the league. His dad trained him. Do the math. 3,500 shots a week, 168,000 a year. Over 15 years, millions of shots. So when he makes a shot that looks impossible, it's not a miracle. It's a receipt. And here's what I've learned. A strategy is like a freeway. It gets you where you want to go faster. But the problem is the exits. Every time you take an exit, you lose the route. Every time you take an exit, you drift farther from your dream than where you started. You have to understand it's the path that matters. It's the step-by-step process that reaches the vision. We stare at the top of the mountain and forget the truth. You move the mountain one step at a time. Your dream requires thousands of steps in the right direction. So train yourself to become resilient. Build fortitude, develop grit, learn to persevere. Learn to listen to the boss voice, not the excuse voice. Execute the actions you know will move you forward, even when you don't feel like it. And if you do that, it will feel easier. Not because it becomes easier, because you become stronger. This is your one life, really, and how you spend it is on you. No one is going to hand you a script. No one is going to sit you down and tell you exactly what to do. So if there's something you've always wanted to do, but you've been avoiding it because you're scared of failing, then this is your moment to do it anyway. Face it straight on, because if you do, you give yourself a real chance in the only life you have to build something that matters. And maybe you don't get there, but at least you tried. That's the point. You can try. You can actually try. You can put effort behind your vision and give it a real shot. And here's what people don't want to admit. If you genuinely give it everything you've got, 9 times out of 10, you'll win. Not because you're special, but because you didn't quit. You worked, you stayed, you showed up every day. You gave yourself the chance to reach it. And one day, because you kept going, you do reach it. Now imagine that life. Imagine a life where you actually built something. Instead of scrolling all day, instead of watching other people live, you're working on your dreams daily, and then one day you look up and you're there. Imagine how that would feel. Hold that feeling, use it as fuel. Because every day will be hard. It won't be smooth. It won't be easy. But the more consistent you are, the more you show up for the work, the more you keep moving toward the target, the more inevitable it becomes. It takes time, yes, but you'll get there because you refuse to give up. Now let's talk about chaos. Chaos is the word we use when life feels out of control, when nothing makes sense and you're standing in the middle of it, trying to figure out which direction to go. Chaos can swallow you. It can feel like the floor disappeared, like the world is spinning too fast, like no matter how hard you try, you can't catch your breath. Maybe you're there right now. Maybe your plans collapsed. Maybe you lost something or someone you thought you couldn't survive without. Maybe life didn't just toss you a curveball. Maybe it slammed you with a storm. And in the middle of that storm, it's easy to feel lost. It's easy to feel like none of this has meaning. No purpose, no reason, no sense at all. But here's the truth about chaos. Chaos is not the end of your story. Chaos is uncomfortable. It's messy. It's painful. It's unpredictable. But it's also fertile ground. Because when life strips away what you thought was stable, when it forces you to let go of the plans you held too tightly, it creates space. Space to rebuild. Space to grow. Space to discover meaning in places you never would have searched before. The first step to finding meaning in chaos is to stop fighting it. Stop trying to force it into order. Stop clinging to what was. Stop resisting what is. Chaos is part of life. Always has been, always will be. No matter how carefully you plan, no matter how hard you work, life will hit you with things you didn't see coming. And that isn't failure. That's being human. When you accept chaos, you stop wasting energy trying to control what cannot be controlled, and you free yourself to focus on what matters, how you respond, what you learn, and who you become because of it. Chaos doesn't show up randomly. It can be a teacher if you're willing to learn. Every setback, every disappointment, every challenge carries a lesson. Maybe it's teaching you resilience. Maybe it's revealing what you truly value. Maybe it's pushing you to grow in ways you never would have chosen. Ask yourself, what is this chaos trying to teach me? What can I learn from this? The answers won't always come immediately, but the moment you start looking for the lesson, you begin to see it. Even in the ugliest moments, there's something you can take from the fire. Here's the truth. Chaos doesn't come with meaning built in. It won't hand you a clean, wrapped-up lesson. It won't deliver a neat purpose with a bow on top. Meaning isn't something you discover like a hidden object. Meaning is something you create. In the middle of the storm, you decide what this moment will mean to you. You decide whether it will break you or build you, whether it becomes the chapter where you quit or the chapter where you rise. Maybe the chaos in your life is giving you permission to release what was never serving you. Maybe it's forcing you to rediscover who you are without labels, expectations, and borrowed plans. Maybe it's the shove you needed into a new chapter. Even if you're scared of what comes next, the meaning isn't waiting somewhere outside you. It's inside you, waiting to be formed. And when life is chaotic, it's easy to feel powerless. It's easy to feel like life is happening to you, and you can't do anything about it. But even in uncertainty, you still control some things. You control your attitude, you control your effort, you control your choices, you control how you show up, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. Trust that this chaos is part of a larger picture, one you can't fully see yet, but one that's being painted anyway. Trust that the struggle is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, more durable. Chaos thrives in the unknown. And the unknown is scary because it's unpredictable. But the unknown is also full of possibility. When life doesn't follow your plan, it creates room for something new. Something you might not have chosen, but something that could end up being exactly what you needed. So let go of the need to have all the answers. Embrace uncertainty. Remember, some of the best things in your life will come from the moments when everything looked like it was falling apart. Chaos isn't comfortable, but it's where transformation begins. It's where old patterns break. It's where new possibilities rise. It's where you discover what you're actually capable of. So if you're in chaos right now, don't quit. Don't let it crush you. Look for the lesson. Create meaning. Trust that this moment, however brutal, belongs to something bigger. You are stronger than the chaos. You are bigger than the storm. And when the dust settles, you'll realize this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something extraordinary. Let chaos shape you, but never define you. Let it teach you, not defeat you. Let it remind you that even in the mess, purpose can still be found. The storm may roar, but so do you. Now listen, every one of us lives with a constant conflict inside. Two forces pulling at the same time. The first force is your survival instinct, the ancient system that's been running inside humans for thousands, tens of thousands of years. It injects fear, doubt, worry, anxiety. It pulls you toward fight or flight. It becomes your loud inner critic. It talks nonstop in your mind. And then there's another voice, a second voice. Philosophers have written about it for ages. It's been called many names: intuition, inner knowing, the true self, and it's quieter. It's not always in your head. A lot of times it speaks through your body, your gut, your chest, your heart. You feel it. But the first voice often drowns it out. And the cost of listening to the voice of fear is simple. It will lead you into a life that is too small. And you already know this. You know it because you feel it. Tension, dissonance, a sick pressure inside when you're living beneath what you know you're capable of. When you're doing something that's too small. If you want to live at full power in this one life, it's in that second voice. It's the voice that is the real you. Because here's how identity works. If your false identity says you're a loser, a deadbeat, undeserving, a failure, unworthy, you'll find proof everywhere. The world will mirror it back to you. But if your identity says, I'm a winner, I'm deserving, I deserve happiness, abundance, joy, and success, you will also find evidence everywhere. It starts with rewriting your story. Get specific. Define how you want your life to look in the categories that matter. Write it down clearly, what you want your life to look like. Then ask, what habits does this month require to make that story real? Because when you bring that story to life, the false identity falls off and the new identity forms. It's a long grind, but it's worth it. Because it's not about where you arrive. It's about who you become while you're getting there. And when you quit, you'll never meet that person. The worst part about quitting isn't just losing the dream, though that's bad. Worse is this. You'll never meet the man or woman you could have become if you had kept going. But here's what's even better than you think it will be. Who you become in the journey. And what you'll be proudest of isn't just the outcome. You'll be proud that you lasted. You'll be proud that you got up after you fell. That you can say, yeah, I quit, but I came back. I got back up. I lasted. I'm tough. I'm resilient. I'm mentally strong. I adapted. I innovated. I pivoted. I improved. I grew. I fought. I clawed. I competed. I won. That's better than you think it is. It's better, man. Remember that time I almost quit? Remember that stretch when I was down? Remember what that person said? Remember that betrayal? Man, that would have broken anybody. Remember when someone stole from me? Remember when life hit me with that? Just so you know, most of the bad things you fear might actually happen. Maybe worse. And that's exactly why it tastes so sweet when you endure. So live at full power. I believe that power is already inside you, and the way you access it is through that second voice. And that second voice doesn't just unlock your power. It shows you where to aim it, where to direct it. So your impact in this world is as big as it can be. That voice speaks the language of energy. That's how you know it's real. So move toward what gives you energy. Make a promise. You will keep moving in the direction of what lights you up, especially the thing you would do if you knew you couldn't fail. That voice wants you all in. I want you to experience yourself at full power. So promise yourself you won't wait. Promise yourself you won't say, not now. Go all in from wherever you are in your life right now. I used to think life was made of millions of decisions and endless complexity. Duh. But I've realized something. If you want to live at full power, if you want to feel the full magnitude of what you can do in this one life, there is really only one decision. Which voice will you listen to? And if you feel stuck, if you feel dissatisfied, that's not proof your life is broken. It's a signal. A signal that one of your most basic needs isn't being met. The need for exploration. Everything in you grows your whole life. Your cells regenerate, your hair grows, your nails grow. Your whole system is built for growth. And your soul needs growth too. It needs exploration. And the only way you'll get it is by forcing yourself into discomfort. So get out of your head, because your feelings will sabotage you. I don't care how you feel, I care about what you want. And if you obey how you feel when it comes to what you want, you won't get it. A human being needs purpose. A life with no purpose is deadly. So people create a fake purpose. For some, that fake purpose is attention. If I get enough recognition, enough validation, enough applause, then I'll feel fulfilled. But it never ends. You can never get enough attention to fill a hole that was never meant to be filled by people. You were made for something. You had a purpose because you have a unique DNA, unique genetics, unique parents, unique experiences. Something about you is original, maybe even weird. And the more you mine that weirdness, the more you extract your uniqueness, the more fulfilled you become. You can build something beautiful, something that lasts. And now listen to this. We live in a world addicted to perfection. The perfect body, the perfect career, the perfect relationship, the perfect life. You scroll social media, flicking past polished photos, filtered moments, curated stories, and it's so easy to fall into the illusion that if you just get everything right, if you line up all the pieces, then happiness and success will finally arrive. But here's the truth. Perfection isn't real. It's an illusion, a moving target you can never hit. And the more you chase it, the more time you waste trying to get everything just right, and the farther you drift from what you actually want. Because perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. We've been trained to think we need everything aligned before we move. We wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect circumstances. But while you're waiting, life is passing. The version of you living your dream isn't the one waiting for perfect conditions. It's the one moving forward, even when the journey looks messy. Perfection paralyzes you. It traps you in planning, research, thinking, forever adjusting, forever refining, never doing. You keep waiting for alignment, and by the time it comes, you've lost so much time that it barely matters. If you keep waiting for perfect, you're wasting your life. You get stuck in waiting and doubting. You say, I'll start once I figure it out. But that day doesn't come. The truth is, you will never have it all figured out. And that's fine. What matters is that you start, even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect. The only way forward is the first step, even if you can't see the second yet. Perfection is control, chasing something you can't hold. Progress is movement, learning, growing, stumbling, getting back up. Progress is raw, progress is imperfect, progress is real. The people who achieve great things aren't the people who waited until everything was flawless. They moved while they were still unsure. They acted, they failed, they learned, they adjusted, and every imperfect step stacked on top of the next one until it became a life. They didn't obsess over perfect. They focused on getting better. That's the secret. Progress isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday. Every day is a chance to grow, to evolve, to take one more step, even when progress feels slow. Because the small, consistent efforts you make today build the foundation for tomorrow. There's freedom in progress. Freedom in giving yourself permission to grow without needing everything to be flawless. Freedom in starting before you feel ready. Even without the full plan, you don't need the perfect blueprint. You need the courage to move. Perfection keeps you in a dream world, where everything is ideal and nothing real ever happens. A world of waiting for the right conditions, the right timing, the right moment. Progress drags you into reality. It forces you to face where you are, accept that you aren't perfect, and keep moving anyway. Life isn't about crafting a perfect image. It's about growing into the best version of who you already are. And that growth doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing, from learning through doing, from failing, from correcting, from keeping your focus on progress, not perfection. In the end, it's not about being perfect. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Step by step, you get closer to the person you're becoming. Not because everything aligns perfectly, but because you keep moving despite the imperfections. The road will never be perfect. The plan will never be flawless. The conditions will never be ideal. But the magic happens when you start anyway. The moment you stop waiting for perfect time is the moment you begin creating your own opportunities. So stop waiting. Stop trying to make it perfect. Start moving, start doing, start learning. Release the need for flawless and embrace the mess, the progress, the imperfect, beautiful grind. Because progress, not perfection, is what takes you where you want to go. Every step, every effort, every imperfect action pulls you closer to the version of yourself you've been waiting to become. Perfection is a lie. Progress is real. So keep moving forward, even if the steps are small. Because the person you want to be is waiting on the other side of today's imperfect action. Now here's one of the most powerful motivation strategies I can give you. Project yourself forward. Think about the consequences of failing. Think about the consequences of stopping. Because what you're trying to do in the moment is escape discomfort right now. But what you pay for later is shame, guilt, and regret, long term. So bundle that future pain. Pull it into the present. Remember, the future is much longer than now. The future lasts until the day you die. Now is just now. Even 130 hours is just 130 hours. And then you look back. Do you look back with pride, or do you look back with regret? The reason you need profound things is because life is a profound problem for everyone. You can hide and live small, conservative, careful, and it still won't save you from the ultimate questions. You still end up facing sickness, loss, fear, death, and crisis. There will be moments, maybe in an emergency room, when panic tries to take you, when you want to collapse, cry, lose control, be of no use to anyone around you. That's not the way. The right way is to become strong and reliable. And you don't become that without wisdom. At some point, you have to wake up and say, enough, enough. You have to wake up and say, this is it. You have to wake up and say, I'm making a change. You can't live online, watching, nodding, saying amen, feeling inspired, and then returning to the same life. It doesn't work like that. Hearing is fine, but doing, taking action, that's what changes your life. You don't have to change everything overnight, but you do have to choose something. You have to say, this is what I'm done being loyal to. This is what I'm starting to be loyal to. Because you've had enough disappointment. And sometimes your brain tries to protect you from disappointment by convincing you the problem is permanent. But no problem is permanent. Only your soul is permanent. Nothing lasts forever. Everything changes. Everything ends. Something new begins. That's life. That's the seasons. So you have to lose your fear of failure. Failure is part of the process. People who never fail never try. You have to fail. You have to get it wrong to get it right. You learn nothing from winning. You learn from losing. And you need to hear this. You were born to do something great with your life. You are enough. You are special. You are favored. You are chosen, no matter where you came from, no matter what you've been carrying. But every day, some of you are killing yourselves with the shame you carry. Something you did, something that happened. Humiliation, fear. You put a gun to your own head every day, An inner voice that says you're not enough, not strong enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough, not favored enough, doomed. You carry those weapons in your mind daily, stealing your confidence, stealing your joy. But there's a better way. You can put it down. You can decide today that you were made for greatness, because without commitment, you'll never start. And without consistency, you'll never finish. So keep working, keep pressing, don't quit. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a bigger threat to progress than hardship. And listen, life is not one shot. The only difference between you and someone who built what you want is that they kept taking shots over and over and over until something finally hit. You have an infinite number of attempts. You can climb many hierarchies. If you fail in one, try again in another. But keep aiming upward, to all. Because what are you going to do if you never aim high? Flop around uselessly and complain? It won't help. It will make you miserable. You won't be reliable. You won't be useful in a crisis. So I don't care what you do something. Make something of yourself for God's sake. Be honest, work, rise to the top of whatever you choose. Stand up for yourself like a respectable human being. Be a light in the world, not a stain. Some people come into your life for a season. They were never meant to stay forever. Sometimes we attach ourselves to people we think are lifetime, and they're only meant to be chapter. Some people are like rocket boosters. If you watch a rocket launch, the boosters fall away once it reaches a certain altitude. Some people aren't built for the altitude you're going to, so don't panic when they drop off. They aren't evil. They just can't go where you're going. And remember this, the man who loves walking will walk farther than the man who only loves the destination. When you fall in love with the journey, goals become side effects. Milestones show up almost accidentally because you're no longer obsessed with the outcome. You don't care as much about lifting a certain weight or running a certain time. That's cool, but it's not the deepest love. The love is the journey. And what is the journey? Being bad at something, failing, getting better, learning, restarting, doing it again. When you love that, everything else takes care of itself. Kill the boy. Let the man be born. And understand this, if you have big goals and big dreams, failure will happen along the way. A champion is built on the other side of I don't feel like it. Everybody wakes up some days and doesn't feel like it. But some people lean in, they embrace it, they figure out a way to improve. Others retreat, they quit, they settle for mediocre. The hero is the person who confronts chaotic potential and turns it into something meaningful. That's the human story. But the problem is you have to face what you don't want to face to fix it. So you look at what needs to burn away in you, what needs to be removed, what needs to die. And yes, 95% of you has to go up in flames. It hurts. Some of what must die will scream while it burns. But if you know you can transcend your problems, if you know you can face them and rise, then you have the faith to take inventory of who you are and become who you were meant to be. You can be the damsel in distress, or you can be the hero. You can wait, or you can fight. And notice this, history doesn't tell stories from the victim's perspective, because whiners don't make history. Winners do. At the end of the day, it's your story. It's your call. What do you expect? You're not doing the work. You have to do more. Stop telling yourself you've done enough. There is only one way to erase doubt. Prove it wrong. Prove all of it wrong. Here's what I want you to see. There are winners, there are losers, and there are people who haven't learned how to win yet. So I want you to think of something you want, something real, something important, something that would give your life meaning and power. And I don't even want you to say, I can do that. I don't want you psyching yourself out. No, I want you to say something that keeps integrity with yourself, something that becomes a benchmark, so that when setbacks hit, you still stay in the game. You keep moving, you keep experimenting, you keep adjusting your strategy, You keep looking for ways to win. So what is that thing? When you get an idea and you want to move, you might not have the money. You might not have the education. You might not have support or resources. So what can keep you going? What can keep you acting on the dream? What's one key that helps you start unlocking the secrets of your life? Here's what I want you to repeat with power, with conviction. It's possible. Say it again. It's possible. Tell yourself every day, it's possible. There is one universal secret to success, and almost everybody misses it. They overlook it, they forget it, they don't hear it, they don't see it, they think it's something else. They get distracted, confused, and then they fail. But it's simple. The simplest thing in your brain is this: I want it so badly I can't live without it. And the moment you don't feel like it, the moment you decide to skip today, that's the day you find out what hard really is. Because hard isn't complexity. Hard is consistency. That's the fight. So don't obsess about next week. Don't obsess about next year. Focus on the next 24 hours you've been given. Because every time you choose to do something difficult, you're stepping into the truth. A lot of people hide behind the same excuse. It's easier said than done. Translation, it's too hard. And that becomes the story they tell themselves over and over until they believe it's their identity. But you need to understand something. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be difficult. If it weren't difficult, there would be no growth. There would be no resistance. There would be nothing to force you to develop strength. That's why I tell you this. The greatest gift you receive from moving toward your dream is not the dream itself. The greatest gift is what you become. You become stronger through the challenge, through the resistance, through the hard. And listen, being average is the human default. The human condition isn't excellence. It's survival. It's good enough. It's coasting. Unity. It's why a kid makes an A on the midterm, then misses 2 weeks of class. It's why he thinks, if I get a C next time, I'll still have a B average. A lot of people live like that. That's normal. So when a kid shows up for football and thinks like that, don't assume something is wrong with him. He's normal. What's special is training someone to play hard, to play tough, to give effort all the time. That's rare. It's rare to get someone to understand the work ethic required to become the best version of themselves. And the truth still stands. You reap what you sow. One of the scariest things in human life is change. And yet we also know change is inevitable. We know progress requires change. We know your life cannot improve without change. We know change is scary. Because life never moves in a straight line for long. Life is either improving or deteriorating. But when you set goals, you can control the direction of change. And controlling the direction of change is the key to your success. Because nobody fears change when it's moving towards something they want. The change people fear is the change that leaves them worse than before. So let me ask you, have you hit the wall? Have you looked in the mirror too many times and forgotten how to smile? Do you want a different situation? Then move. But listen carefully. The journey isn't easy. And before you start that journey mentally, you have to fuel yourself with the right reasons, the right fuel, to survive the entire road. Because everybody starts hot. Everybody starts fired up. But after a couple weeks, after a month, when the grind hits, when the wear and tear shows up, when the daily stress piles on, you begin losing sight of the horizon. You do, don't you? You start getting consumed by the daily hiccups, the ups and downs, the little speed bumps. And when you lose sight of the purpose, the pain of today starts feeling bigger than the reason you started. And that's when most people quit. Because everybody wants success, and almost everybody eventually reaches a moment where they want to stop. But the genuinely successful people recognize something in that moment. In this exact moment, almost anyone would quit. And then they simply don't. And I can tell you this, the data will always give you reasons to quit. Luckily, quitting was never my style. The struggle is real. It never gets easier. You have to get harder. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done.